All right, let's dive in. Today, we're going to tackle a really big question. How do you build a clinical service line that doesn't just succeed for a year or two, but actually endures for generations? To do that, we're going to lean on the incredible research from the landmark book Built to Last and see how its core ideas apply directly to us in creating a true legacy of excellence in patient care.
Now, this whole conversation really springs from the vital work that's happening right now within our Culture Coalition. It's all about figuring out how we can build the absolute best, most supportive environment for our teams and, of course, for the patients we serve.
And that right there, that's the heart of the matter, isn't it? I mean, we've all seen teams that are just amazing, these incredible pockets of excellence. But what's the secret sauce? What allows some of them to keep that greatness going through leadership changes, new technologies, and all the shifts in medicine, while other fantastic teams, well, they just kind of fade away? Okay, so let's jump into our first big idea. And I'll tell you, this one requires a pretty fundamental shift in how we think about our role and what our ultimate contribution to patient care really is.
It's such a common myth, isn't it? This idea that lasting success all comes down to one heroic surgeon or one revolutionary new procedure. You know, that charismatic person or groundbreaking idea that can just tell you what time it is in a flash. But the research from Built to Last just completely flips this on its head. See, enduring organizations aren't built by time tellers, they're built by clock builders. A time teller, that's the genius who can look at the sun and tell you the exact time. But when they're gone, so is that ability. A clock builder, on the other hand, builds a clock, a system that can keep telling the time for everybody long after they're gone.
So here's the big takeaway. Our most important creation isn't just the amazing outcome for the patient right in front of us today. It's building the service line itself, the clock that guarantees every patient, especially our most complex ones, gets that same incredible care for decades to come. Okay, so this whole clock-building mindset, it naturally leads us to the next piece of the puzzle, the incredible power of a guiding purpose.
You see, visionary organizations are guided by something the book calls a core ideology. And this isn't just some generic mission statement you hang on a plaque. It's this really powerful combination of your core values, the things you will absolutely not compromise on, and your fundamental purpose. It's the real reason you exist, beyond just hitting metrics or budget targets. It's your North Star.
And check this out. This is a perfect example. It's a famous line from the Johnson & Johnson credo. Just look at how they stack their priorities. Their first responsibility is to patients. Profit, while it's important, comes last. That's a core ideology in action written down for everyone to see.
And this wasn't just some nice-sounding phrase either. I mean, think about it. 1982, the Tylenol crisis hits. J&J didn't have to waste time forming a committee to figure out what to do. That credo was their guide. They made an immediate $100 million decision to recall everything. They put patient safety way ahead of short-term profit, and that one single act built a legacy of trust that has lasted for decades. And that leads us perfectly into the next section, which totally debunks this false choice between being stable and being innovative.
You know, it's so easy to fall into this trap the authors call the tyranny of the or. We think we have to choose. We think, okay, do we focus on our core patient care mission, or do we pursue innovative research? Do we maintain stability, or do we push for change? Well, visionary organizations completely reject this. They embrace what's called the genius of the and they relentlessly figure out how to do both.
And this image, it just illustrates that dynamic perfectly. On one hand, you've got this core philosophy, your values, your purpose, and that stuff is rock solid. It's your anchor. But at the exact same time, you've got this relentless drive for progress that's constantly pushing everything else, your clinical practices, your technology, your strategies forward.
So, how do you actually stimulate that progress? Well, one of the most powerful tools is something called a BHAG, a big, hairy, audacious goal. This is not next quarter's target. This is a huge, kind of scary, but incredibly compelling mission that just grabs people, unifies the team, and energizes everybody for the long haul.
And in our world, in the world of patient care, a BHG is an absolute game changer. I mean, just imagine rallying everyone around a goal like achieving 0 preventable complications for your most complex patients, or becoming the undisputed national leader in your specialty. It's this clear, compelling finish line that focuses everyone's efforts on one single monumental achievement.
Okay, but a goal that huge, it needs incredible leadership. So who's going to lead that charge, not just for a year, but for decades to come?
And here we go again, right back to another one of those common myths. If you really want to shake things up and drive progress, you've got to bring in some high-profile savior from an outside organization.
But when you look at the data, wow, it tells a totally different story. These visionary companies, the ones that truly last, they almost never do this. They promoted leaders from within over 96% of the time. And why? Because homegrown leaders are steeped in the core ideology. They don't just know the business, they are the culture. They are clock builders, not some hired time teller.
So how do they do it? They build what's called a leadership continuity loop. It's not an accident, it's a system. They're deliberately identifying and developing their own people, planning for succession years ahead, and making sure there's this seamless transfer of leadership that keeps the core values intact while still driving that relentless progress.
Okay, so after all these huge concepts, let's bring it right back down to us, to our daily work right here, right now.
So let's just do a quick recap here. Building a clinical service line that really lasts, it boils down to these 4 connected ideas. It's about being a clock builder, creating systems instead of just relying on individual heroes. It's about embracing the genius of the and, pursuing your purpose and pushing for progress. And it's about making sure every single thing you do is aligned with why you exist in the first place.
And listen, this might be the most important point of the entire conversation. This is not just a job for senior leadership. Every single one of us on the team, every physician, every nurse, every advanced practice professional, you are a clock builder. You are the ones who build and maintain and improve the systems of care that will ultimately outlast any single one of us.
So as we start to wrap this up, I want to leave you with a question to chew on. Beyond the patients you'll treat this week, what is the lasting system of excellent care that you are helping to build? What is the legacy you're creating for the colleagues who will come after you? What clock will you help build?